Empty isn't the word most people use to describe Ireland. Beautiful, yes. Peaceful, yes. Quiet in a way that surprises you. But empty? No one uses that word. And I understand why. From the outside, Ireland is full. Full of landscape, of culture, of warmth, of history that runs deeper than anything most places can offer. But there is a specific kind of emptiness that only shows up inside a certain kind of quiet. And Ireland is very, very quiet. I wasn't ready for what that quiet uncovered in me. It showed up in the mornings first. Not every morning. Not dramatically. Just sometimes, in that first hour before the day had any shape to it, coffee made, window looked out of, the grey Irish sky doing what it always does, I would feel it. A hollowness. Not sadness exactly. Not loneliness, though I was sometimes lonely too. Something more like space. More internal space than I knew what to do with. Where I came from, mornings didn't feel like that. Mornings were immediate. There was always something to respond to, something to move toward, something to check. The day had shape before it even started, because the noise gave it shape. Here, the mornings were quiet enough that I could feel the inside of them. And what I felt, more often than I expected, was emptiness. I started noticing it in the evenings too. In the particular quality of a Tuesday evening in Ireland, after work, before sleep, when there was simply time. Not time for anything specific. Just time, sitting there, available, with nothing to fill it but whatever I brought to it. That scared me more than I expected. I was used to evenings that had plans, or at least the possibility of plans. A city that offered a version of yourself back, busy, connected, always somewhere to be. Ireland didn't do that. Ireland offered the evening and stood back and waited to see what I would do with it. For a long time, I didn't know. So I filled it the way I'd always filled empty space, with screens, with background noise, with other people's lives scrolling past mine. Not because I wanted to, but because real silence had started to feel too large to sit inside. That's when I began to understand that the emptiness wasn't something Ireland had put in me. It had always been there. Ireland had just taken away everything I'd been using to avoid noticing it. This is the part nobody warns you about when you move somewhere quiet. We talk a lot about needing rest, needing slow, needing to get away from it all. And those things are real, I needed all of them. But what nobody tells you is that real rest, in a place that's genuinely quiet, doesn't feel peaceful at first. It feels exposing. When you slow down enough, the things you've been moving too fast to feel start to catch up with you. For me, it was a grief I thought I'd already processed. An old version of a future I'd let go of years ago, or believed I had. It turned out I'd just been moving fast enough that it couldn't find me. In Ireland, moving that fast wasn't available. And one grey afternoon, in a country where the weather itself seemed to encourage sitting with things rather than escaping them, it found me. I sat with it. Not because I was brave. Because there was nowhere else to go. Ireland has a specific relationship with sitting with difficult things. You feel it in the culture, in the way people here approach hardship without immediately trying to solve it or reframe it into something positive. There's a quiet trust here that hard things pass. That being present with pain is not the same as being defeated by it. That the space something difficult takes up is temporary, and fighting it only makes it larger. I needed to learn that. More than I knew. The emptiness I felt wasn't depression. I want to say that clearly, because I think it's an important distinction. It was more like the feeling of a room that has just been cleared out. Not destroyed, cleared. A space that had held a lot of things for a long time, and those things were gone now, and the room was empty in the way rooms are before they become something new. Ireland gave me that room. The quiet made the space. And the space, once I stopped running from it, turned out to be the thing I had needed most. Here is what I found inside the emptiness. I want to be specific, because I think vague answers to this kind of feeling are worse than useless. I found that I didn't actually know what I wanted. Not in the big sense, not life goals or 5-year plans. In the immediate, daily sense. What I wanted for dinner. How I actually wanted to spend a Sunday. What kind of conversation I was genuinely hungry for, as opposed to the kind I'd been having because it was what was available. When you're busy enough, you don't ask those questions. You take what's there. You move through the available options and call it living. In Ireland, in the emptiness of those long quiet evenings, I had to start asking. And the asking felt strange. Like a skill I hadn't used in so long the muscles had grown weak. I found that I was tired. Really tired. Not the kind of tired that sleep fixes. The kind that comes from years of performing competence, performing happiness, performing the specific version of yourself that the people around you have learned to expect. In Ireland, nobody was asking for that performance. And in the absence of the demand, I could finally feel how much it had been costing me. I found that I was lonelier than I had admitted to myself. Not lonely in Ireland specifically, lonely in a way that had started long before I arrived here. Lonely in the way of someone who has been surrounded by people and noise and activity for years, and has slowly, quietly lost touch with the part of themselves that knows how to actually be with another person. The part that doesn't need to entertain. The part that can sit in silence without filling it. Ireland taught me to sit in that silence. Not immediately. Not without difficulty. But over time, and with the particular patience that this country seems to offer almost as a cultural value, I learned to be in the quiet without running from it. And when I stopped running, the emptiness changed. It didn't disappear. I don't want to promise you that it disappears, because I don't think that's true and I don't think it's honest. But it changed in quality. It went from feeling like absence, like something that should be there and wasn't, to feeling like space. Like a room cleared out and ready. Like a life that had been moved so fast for so long that it had forgotten what it was moving toward, finally, slowly, beginning to remember. No one told me Ireland could feel this empty. And I understand now why they didn't. Because the emptiness isn't Ireland's fault, and it isn't a warning, it's a consequence. A consequence of finally being somewhere quiet enough, slow enough, and patient enough to hear what's actually inside you when the noise stops. Most of us spend our whole lives making sure the noise doesn't stop. Not because we're broken, but because what's underneath is unknown. And unknown things are frightening, until you sit with them long enough to find out they're just you. The real, unperformed, slightly uncertain, entirely human you, waiting quietly. Ireland gave me that. The empty evenings and the grey mornings and the silence that asks nothing and offers no distraction, all of it created the conditions for something I hadn't had in a very long time. The chance to meet myself again. Without the noise. Without the performance. Just me, in a quiet country, finally still enough to see what was there. And what was there wasn't empty at all. If something in this video reached you, if the emptiness I described felt familiar, if you recognized something in what I was trying to name, I want you to know, you are not alone in it. And this channel exists for exactly that conversation. The one that doesn't happen in the highlights. The one that lives in the quiet, in the honest, in the difficult middle of things. Subscribe if you want more of that. And leave a comment below. Tell me, have you ever felt empty in a beautiful place? I'll read every single one.